much, Sarah. And thanks for the opportunity to talk about the mining innovation and research battlefield, which, as I said to Sarah and Rose, is a freshly baked bread just right out of the oven. Just yesterday, we finalized it. So we're the Development Partner Institute. I'm the executive director. I have a long history in mining, in the mining sector, having worked for corporations, for consulting, and have been with the DPI since its early days in 2017. And I'll pass now to Allison to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me and us. My name is Allison George, and I'm the Head of Programs and Initiatives at the Development Partner Institute. And I guess my background has been just under 17 years mainly in the mining governance space. So working in transparency and to create transparency and accountability mechanisms within the mining space, and grown to work with governments and industry and civil society, and then being part of development partnership now and defining what that means. So really excited to be here and to be in Cape Town and to meet people in person, but also to deliver the innovation and research battlefield.
Yeah,
we can't hear you.
For the first time this conference, there we go, the dreaded mute button. Oh, that's me find. So I've just put the DPI website into chat, by the way. So if anybody wants to go and take a look at it, please do go and check it out. So you've both been mentioning this battlefield. So what's been going on?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us, Allison? Allison's led the battlefield. She's going to tell.
It's just, how can I put it? But I guess one of the things that underpins it is that often when people talk about transformation and change in the world, and I think I'm a firm believer that you have to start with yourself and your organization or what you're doing. So the battlefield is a partnership between DPI Mining. It's also Business for Development, an Australian-based organisation, and of course the Hive Group that have given us this platform, the organisers of Mining Indaba. And so we're trying to, this is the inaugural innovation and research battlefield. It's a pilot, it's an experiment, and we're trying to connect researchers and academics to industry. So bridging that gap and seeing what can happen with innovation. So in essence, we're feeding and creating a pipeline of researchers, academics, and getting organizations that haven't worked together before to now pitch to industry and work with industry and deliver innovative solutions. So this year's theme is building post-mine economies. So it's within the context of sustainability. And we asked that people came creatively with different ideas. And so we have things that are based around creating systems thinking, new governance frameworks for sustainability, because often someone can have an idea, but there isn't the structure to deliver it, even in legislation or regulation. And we have heavily science and technology-based ideas. So the idea that won this year was regenerative agriculture, so thinking about growing kanaf, hemp, and creating the soil in new ways to build post-mine economies. And then we also have lots of ideas based on really speaking and connecting with communities and co-designing and thinking from the point at which the mine closes, but also early on as well. So we just had this range of ideas, lots of young people, very confident, and so we had lots of applications. We whittled it down to 9 strong applications across the field. And what else can I tell you? So we had round 1, which was amazing because we offered the opportunity to have a hybrid and in-person mixture of people presenting. And that enabled us to connect with people from across the world: Panama, the United States, the UK, Zambia, South Africa, of course, and just people from all over the world bringing their ideas to the table. And after round 1, we whittled that down to 3 people, and yesterday we held the finals. We also had the evaluation panel, which was made up of our DPI executive director, but Anglo-American, BHP, and Africa Development Bank, Anglo Gold Ashanti. So lots of really established heavyweights who just brought their expertise and their experience, not their ego, but just to what can we actually do to create something different. And there was moments and spaces where I just observed people coming together and being able to connect as opposed to anything else, to create innovation and be creative and dynamic. So I'm quite passionate about it, so I'll stop now. Yes,
that's fantastic summary. Maybe if I could just add a little bit of background to how it came about. And this is the way it came about is very typical of the way that the Development Partner Institute works. And so we had been engaging with people in industry and academia, others who had spoken about the gaps between different parts of the research and innovation ecosystem, where there were great ideas, but not a forum, not a space to be able to share ideas and to think about how do we bring different parts of the innovation and research ecosystem together. And so in 2020, here in Cape Town, associated with the Mining Indaba, we ran a mining research roundtable. And at that roundtable, we had representatives from the mining sector, from other sectors, from civil society, from academia, from research organizations. So quite a diverse group of people. And we spent a day exploring these questions of where are the gaps? Where are the opportunities? How do we work more effectively together? And as part of that conversation, we asked people for, what's your big idea? What's your big idea that can take us forward? And the big idea that got the most interest and traction was the idea of creating an innovation and research battlefield that's modeled on the idea of the investment battlefield. So associated with the Mining Indaba for quite a number of years has been the investment battlefield, where junior miners and explorers come and pitch their project and their aspiration. And it's a way of connecting investors and mining companies and exploration companies. And so the big idea was to model the innovation and research battlefield on that concept. And we've done that. So it's taking that big idea and then creating it. DPI is also about partnership. And so we've been really thrilled to partner with a range of different people. So our primary partners in this venture are Business for Development, as Allison said, and Hive Group. And so we've worked in this tripartite way to bring about the innovation and research battlefield. And with COVID, we didn't know when this was going to happen. Allison joined us in January, on January the 4th. And I said to her, here's the first thing we're going to do because the Mining Indaba is confirmed. So Allison has taken the lead in creating this, really not completely from scratch, but largely as an idea and making it work with the team. So with our team, with the teams from Business for Development, with the team from Hive Group, it's really been a joint effort. And then also partnering with the panelists who are our judges, with the applicants, and looking to build an ecosystem out of this. So we're really thrilled at the hot off the press or hot out of the oven innovation and research battlefield. Lots of learnings for us, yes, which we're also thrilled about. And it just gave me so much joy to see these wonderful projects and these wonderful young people, because that's another one of our objectives, is to provide the space for young people's voices to be heard and to be able to share and promote the wonderful work that's happening in their thinking.
So what next? So for, not just the winners or the 3 finalists or those on the shortlist or those who submitted their ideas, what's happening next with them? How are you incubating all of these brilliant ideas and this excitement?
Really good question. So we're trying to build a connection. So each year we build. So for example, one of the things when you win this great award is that they're going to be, the winners will give us quarterly reports on how the money is being used. And they'll also present next year and pass the baton to the next innovation and battlefield winner. So if you think of it as a pipeline, we're building an alumni, and we are going to use the term incubation. We're going to enable those ideas to have visibility as well. Because we've been telling the applicants all through the way that you're all winners, in that you're here and one person goes through, but it's also the start of the journey for the others. And so we will consolidate that information in an innovation and research battlefield publication, if you like. And then we're working in the background with the other applicants to see how we can connect them to different companies or grow their idea to scale depending on what their needs are. So even this conversation with yourselves, it's part of thinking about what types of connection do they need to get their ideas off the ground, and where does that fit in within the whole value chain, the whole mapping of development partnership, and of course with industry, because ultimately I think that there were so many dynamic ideas that came, and we wouldn't let anything go. It's just continuously building everything up. So those are the key things.
Yeah, so sort of
beautifully said.
So like building a kind of almost like an alumni network as well.
Absolutely.
In terms of people who come through it. So in terms of who is invited to submit their ideas. So is it just young people, in academia, or so, having personally worked in the mining sector for many years, it's a cyclical industry. So what tends to happen is that when everything goes into a downturn, one of the first things, unfortunate though it is to get cut, is a lot of the research. And so this is me teeing up to say, there are loads of people out there with amazing research that kind of got cut off at the knees just because commodity prices fell off a cliff back in 2011 or whenever it was. Are you also open to those people, or are you really aiming at making that partnership across into academia?
I think the crux of it is about making the connection into academia, but it's an eclectic mix of applications that we received. So even when our intention as the DPI is definitely to give young people a voice, and of course communities a voice. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a chronological age thing. You might have a very fresh idea and it's not been the time to reveal that idea. However, you could work. We had professors with PhD students or students that came together that, to pitch an idea. And so it's more about the freshness and the innovation of the idea as well, coupled with being a young person. And in addition to that, we had people pitching from mining communities. And they didn't necessarily come through the academic route, but they proposed a research idea based on their own empirical data, actual experience of living in a mining community. So there was one person in particular, I won't mention the person, but just definitely who could speak to the points very clearly without any wording or heavy text about the real lived experience and what sustainability should actually look like from that perspective. So we invite all people, and we have our criteria, our parameters, that you're backed up by an organization. But if you're not coming from a university, you might have your own organization that you've developed or created, or you might have somebody else that you're wanting to partner with. So it's not just, it's inclusive, because that's what we're wanting.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a wonderful response. And if I could just add one thing, the only requirement we have around this question that you've asked is that that the applicants are backed up by an organization.
Okay.
Yeah, so
they
it could
have that
be
structure in place.
Yes,
to have
for
that structure.
accountability.
So it could be an academic institution, or it could be a company, or it could be a civil society organization. And we had applications from all of those.
Yeah, we had, and it was just great. I'm very excited about it because
That's fun.
just to see it come together is amazing, and the people that have, yeah.
So I guess, I mean, the final question is, when can everybody sign up for next year?
Well, next year, Mining Indaba is going to be in February.
Mm.
And we've got a bit more lead time now. So I think we'll probably, we haven't started to talk about this yet, but I think in the last, definitely by the last quarter.
Yeah, the last
of this
quarter.
year.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
But
Well,
if people are interested, then send us an email to, it's
innovation@dpimining.org.
excellent.
Yeah, so
innovation@dpimining.org. We'll make sure we push it out on all of our networks as well. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. So thank you so much, Alison and Wendy, for coming and joining us here today. As you say, hot out of the press, out of the oven, whatever other analogies we want to use there. Truly brilliant to speak to you, and thank you so much for well, actually massive congratulations, to be honest, on the huge success of your first inaugural battlefield. Brilliant. Round of applause. Thank you very much
Thank you very much as well.